Hey Faith Church, Devin here. Just heading into my office right now to grab some things, take it home, work at home again. But in the meantime, I thought I would show you the building and also, of course, encourage us with the Word of God. Here's your hallway that you miss. And of course, our beautiful sanctuary. Great lighting. Of course, immaculate carpet as always. There's our prayer board. Church is always praying. A lot of prayer warriors in our church. People are phoning each other, praying for each other, which is astounding just to see people support each other spiritually. I was thinking today about how people's opinions about the future can be so off. You know, pre-corona, I remember this one person said to me that they don't think that the virus will ever reach Canada and nothing will be locked down. It won't go to the extreme it has in other countries where people are unemployed and the economy is affected, schools are shut down, churches are shut down, all that stuff. I said, it'll blow over soon. Sure enough, I get a notification on my phone saying, school's canceled. And that person's opinion obviously went out the window. Then you got another person who said, well, 70% of Canada is going to get this virus and all these people are going to die. And it's like, well, how do you know? You're reading an article and you may not know the future. You know, the Bible does talk about the future and how we ought to talk about the future. And I was thinking about that in the book of James. You know, James was a half-brother of Jesus. And yet he was totally convinced of Jesus' divinity. And he writes this to a church which is boasting about the future. And they're saying, this will happen and that will happen. And these are my plans. And this is what James writes to the believers. He says in James 4:13, "Come now, you who say today or tomorrow, we shall go to such and such a city and spend such a year there and engage in business and make a profit. Yet you do not know what tomorrow will be like or your life. You're just a vapor that appears for a little while and then vanishes. Instead, you ought to say, if the Lord wills, we will live here and do this or do that. But as it is, you boast in your arrogance. All such boasting is evil." And in that passage, I think it teaches us how to talk about the future, how to talk about COVID in the future, how to talk about the economy in the future, how to talk about our vacation plans in the future. We're supposed to be humble and say, if the Lord wills, I will take vacation in August. If the Lord wills, this virus will flatten midway. If the Lord wills, our economy will be stabilized by the fall, or whatever it might be. Because if anything, I think COVID has taught us that life's uncertain. We're a vapor. We don't even know what tomorrow will bring, which is hours away. How can we make such confident assertions that this virus is going to happen this way, or my life will look that way? And I think that's often worldly talk, you know, just boasting about tomorrow. And in that passage, I think it teaches us that God is on the throne. He orders the events of life, and he's the ultimate sovereign over all things. And I think COVID has really taught us that life may not continue as it seems. It could change at the drop of a hat, and we are to pay homage to our sovereign King and say, if God wills, this will happen. If God wills, if God permits, if he allows it, it's up to God. And just incorporate that into our language. And I think this would be a great challenge for us as Christians to incorporate that particular vocabulary in our language from COVID. And so maybe you're already doing that. I don't know. I try to do that as much as I can. But really, since this COVID season, it has really underscored that importance of saying, if God wills, if the Lord wills, if he allows, this and this will happen. And I think that does two things. It pays glory and homage and tribute to God, who is sovereign over the universe, that he dictates the future and he is the ultimate one in control. And then second, I think it humbles us. You know, if I say, I'm going to take vacation this summer, Lord willing, and go here, I think that humbles me. And it frames my mind up in a brand new way from being boastful and arrogant and saying this will happen in the future to saying, if God allows, this will happen in the future. And I just encourage you with that, to incorporate a brand new vocabulary if you're not using those particular words, just to include God into our assertions about the future. God bless.